Second, we want to make sure that the freedom movement in Ukraine stays alive. Their donors have been killed or fled the country or had their businesses bombed and blown up. And they're all focusing on these issues as well. So we want to make sure that the freedom movement is not extinguished by this, because what will keep Ukraine alive as an independent country is freedom. Yeah. This is really important. And so we are also funding them to develop such things as menus of stupid, idiotic laws that harm Ukrainians to be eliminated, to get rid of this smothering bureaucracy, which is a legacy of their Soviet past, which has not yet been all swept away, to secure rights to enter and start a business and be an entrepreneur without having to have oligarchical connections, just so a normal person could launch a new business. And so a portion of that also is to maintain that so that after this horrific war is over, we don't know how it's going to end, we hope with the invasion stopped and pushed out, that they will be able to create a really free social, political, and economic order in the country.
Yeah, it might be an opportunity, and I had Natalia on my show, and we were interrupted by air raid sirens and all sorts of drama. But it was just a few days after the Ukrainian parliament liberalized your right to defend yourself and to carry arms. And from her perspective, and certainly from mine, too little, too late. But I understand how controversial gun ownership is in all of Europe. But beyond that, to the point you're making, it seems like an opportunity to point out that economic liberalization means energy independence. It means economic power. You have resources, and this is pretty true for a lot of these countries that are feeling anxious about what Russia is doing to Ukraine. My friends in Georgia feel quite anxious about it, and rightly so. But this might be an opportunity to say, you know what, our national strength comes from the strength of our individuals. And I think there's an opportunity here to strip away some of the vestiges of the old Soviet bureaucracy ideology.
Tom mentioned some laws. I think one of the most important laws they get rid of right now was the law for importing cars, because they had a tax of 150% of importing cars, which is like super idiotic. I mean, just even in reality,
which at the end would be imposed on our volunteer drivers who just volunteered to drive the car and help us to move supplies there.
I had this problem. I drove in with one car that I bought, and I left it with friends who took it deeper into the country, and then I hitched the ride back and got another one. When I drove in the second time with the other car, they said, "You came in with a different car. Where is it?" I said, "Well, it's in Ukraine right now." It was like, God forbid you would give something to the Ukrainian people to deliver humanitarian aid. I said, "Well, will you bring it back?" And I said, "If it survives the war, yeah, sure, I'm going to bring it back." And finally, one customs official, after this nightmare paperwork and being grilled, came and said, look, he understood. This is crazy. He said, "Do you just promise to bring the car back?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Okay, good. Stamp. Good luck."
Yeah, just promise.
All I had to do. But it was like this horror of the bureaucracy. And fortunately, they said, we have to get rid of this. And as one of our friends in Parliament, Marian Zablotsky, put it on the phone to me, he said, "Restrictions that are harmful in war will not be helpful in peace." We want to get rid of them, and at the end of this, we want to have the freest country, one of the freest countries in Europe, if not the freest. And I think that is a noble aspiration, and it is the smartest strategy for making sure Ukraine is independent and not subjected to this again.
Yeah.
Especially since we have example by this whole situation for the last months, how much like private charity and individual activism could help more than government.